Okay, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to meet the Hammond new B3. I think as a good starting point, it's very important that you understand the heritage of the B3. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it and know quite a lot about it already, but to go back in time over 50 years when the original B3, the tonewheel, was launched, it became almost an iconic instrument overnight, and through development throughout the 60s and 70s, this particular organ, not just the B, but all the other Hammond tonewheel organs that have been manufactured, have been used in every style of music you could imagine. And you've probably heard a Hammond organ on thousands of tracks that you may have bought on record, listened to on the radio, be that jazz, blues, rock, fusion, gospel, even classical. Now, 10 years ago, Hammond, as a company, made a decision that they would like to build a new B3. Well, why do you want to build a new B3, you may ask? Well, a lot of the older B3s and Cs now, they are getting to a time of life where, because these are pseudo-mechanical sort of electronic instruments, they begin to develop issues, and they're not so easy to move around. They don't have the benefit of MIDI, the connectivity benefit of MIDI. So yeah, we decided, let's build a B3. Big statement. The issue is, if you're going to actually reproduce an already iconic instrument, you only get one chance. That you cannot get this wrong. It has to be 100% identical to the original in its use, its performance, its feel, its sound. The problem being that when you start talking about a tonewheel organ, and for those of you who don't know, a tonewheel is just a huge case in the back of the organ which has got spinning discs inside it which produce tones, and the tone gets sort of amplified by a pickup and transferred through ultimately to the keyboard where we play the sound. Now, these tonewheels were mechanical spinning discs, and there was 96 of them, I believe, 96 anyway. And when you try and think about what we've got today with sampling techniques, etc., we are very clever. But because a mechanical thing is almost a random, it's a living thing, it's a moving thing, so therefore it has a little bit of a random characteristic about the way it performs and can be played. Our problem as a company producing a new B3 was that how can we capture all that information, even off one tonewheel, never mind 96 of them, with 2, 3, 4, 5 processors? Answer is no, we couldn't. So the system was designed which gave us not 1, not 2, not 3, not 10 sound generators inside the B3. We've actually got 96 individual virtual tonewheel processors inside this instrument, which means that every virtual tonewheel has been designed to react exactly and model exactly what the mechanical cousin would have done almost 50 years ago. Okay, that was problem 1 solved. Problem 2 was that on an original tonewheel, we have 9 drawbars, and we have 9 drawbars on the new B. In fact, 4 banks of 9 drawbars. On the original tonewheel, what happens is, underneath the keyboard, there are 9 or multi-contacts, and if you only press down slightly on the key, you're only going to produce the tone of the first 1-foot drawbar. Okay, so if I just press that down very gently, there we go, we're producing the sound of the 1-foot drawbar. If I go further down, I'm bringing in these. So almost in progression, if you can imagine, it's something like that, switching through 9. That's quite important, and it's so, you know, it's so relevant that you understand this, because when you see the Hammond players playing in this kind of very tactile, evocative style, it's not particularly because it looks quite good and they want to be rock stars. It's because if you vary the pressure and almost sort of the feeling and the way you melt into a Hammond organ, it's going to produce different tones, so you can actually make the tone react differently to the way you play it. So if I play it sort of very... yeah, it's nice, but I want it to be a bit more aggressive, so I'm going to switch that on. So, okay, a lot of this is not targeting a specific point within the key contact system. It's very randomized and it's very sort of hit and miss. But at least you as a player know that if you're playing in a particular style, you're going to get this tonal color and tonal change. So the problem was with the design of the virtual tone wheels, then what I had to do is design a keybed that could do all this, which you've just heard. It does it. So this has actually got underneath here the original multi-contact system, just like on the tonewheel B3s, which is all wired to the virtual tone wheels, so it reacts exactly the same. So if I put on, you can hear the key click. Key click was a design fault, but it became oh so important about the Hammond thing because it gave it that like extra element. All these abnormalities and impurities of tone which sort of evolved with the original instrument, which I dare say the design engineers would be horrified that they found them there. But I mean, as players and as listeners, these became the true tone of the Hammond organ. This is what made it so different. Organs have come, organs have gone. Hammond's always been around. You know, ask any self-respecting Hammond player, you know, what do you play? He'll never tell you organ. It's like, amen, I play Hammond. Oh, not organ. No. So this, basically, the new generation Hammond organs have been developed through probably about 8 years, I think it was, before the actual production model. But the end result is it reacts just like a B3. The key click is natural because we've got multi-contacts, just like the original. So important when you're playing Hammond because the key click down here on the bass thing, which you'll see in later chapters, is a very, very pertinent and relevant part of what the Hammond technique is about. Just like the original, if we had chorus 3 vibrato, the click gets clickier. Okay? So it gives you as a player a 100% total Hammond organ player's experience. The new B3 has been available now for about 3 years, I believe, but you know, this is going to do the gig. It's not a pretend Hammond organ, and for the first time since really tone wheels have stopped being manufactured, I can really tell you hand on heart that this is a tone wheel organ. Okay, it's not got mechanical metal tone wheels inside it, but it has virtual digital tone wheels, and they will react exactly the same as it would have done on the original one 50 years ago.